The release for Siege X just came out, and I was lucky enough, thanks to Ubisoft, to be invited out and play it on the main stage, as you can see by the footage in the background of what I'm talking about. Now, I did get to play Siege X on the main stage, but what I haven't told you is I've been able to play this game since November of last year, and there's a lot of things that are coming that you maybe didn't see in the trailer for the game on the 13th of March. So I'm going to be going over everything that I've noticed in my months of playing this game early, so that you know every major change going from Siege to Siege X. One of the first and most important major changes from Siege to Siege X, in my opinion, is the visual upgrades for certain maps. These are called remastered maps because you're not really changing the map, you're just changing the way that they look. And there are 5 of these maps that are going to be remastered coming out when Siege X comes out. That's Clubhouse, Border, Bank, Chalet, and Cafe. Those are the 5 maps that are going to be remastered with remastered graphics, and they look absolutely outstanding. I already made a YouTube video the other day going over every map before and after Siege X that they gave me footage for. So if you want to see at least 3 of those maps and how they look remastered, you can check out that video after this one. But essentially, they're going to be redoing a lot of maps, and the first Siege X season is going to come out with obviously 5 remastered maps, and every season after that is going to come out with 3 different remastered maps until every map has officially been remastered in Rainbow Six Siege. They've redone all of the lighting, all of the reflections, they've retextured pretty much everything. Some things do look completely different, everything looks a little bit darker and more realistic. It kind of brings back the old Siege graphics. If you played in the first, 3 years of the game, back when the game was a lot darker and more gritty, Siege X is bringing that back with a lot better looking graphics, if that makes sense. Something that is completely new to Siege X, though, is the new Dual Front game mode. This is a permanent 6v6 game mode. It is the only game mode they've ever made in Siege to be actually permanent, unless, of course, you're including the arcade playlists. This game mode is a lot of fun, and I plan on making a video explaining everything to do with this game mode in case you're interested, so let me know in the comments if you want to see that. But essentially, it's a game mode that you can mix attackers and defenders, and it's a 6v6 game mode. It's capture the point, 3 different bombs you have to plant and defend at the exact same time, as well as a limited time hostage mode in the center of the map. It is a unique map, and it's the biggest map in Siege history. Think of 5 normal-sized maps, combine those together, and that is how big this map is. It is absolutely insane. The map is also completely symmetrical, so any sort of building that you have on your side will also be on the enemy side, except they're colored a bit differently, so you always know which side is yours, but the buildings are still completely symmetrical. This is not a competitive mode, at least right now, so if that's what you were hoping for, unfortunately, that is not the case, which means, in my opinion, it's not going to be played a lot, but I do think it's still a really, really fun game mode. The amount of potential you have by matching attackers and defenders is cool. You can have a Warden and a Glaz looking through the exact same scope. You can completely redefine reinforcements with a Mira and a Maverick on the same team. You could have crazy flank watch with Legion and Gridlock both watching a staircase. There's so much opportunity you have that you've never had before in Siege with this game mode, and it is a lot of fun in my opinion. Now, the visual upgrades and the dual front game mode are all game modes that I'm sure you've probably heard of by now, but one thing that you might not know is coming to Siege X is the communication wheel. If you don't have a microphone or any sort of form of communication, this is going to give you the opportunity to ask for things or call out things that you didn't have the ability to do before, like asking for a regroup, asking for a wall to be breached, asking for a reinforcement, stuff like that. There's now a communication wheel, so if you don't have the ability to talk to people, which if you're in a competitive game, you should, but that's besides the point, now you have that opportunity. Another thing that seemed to slip past people's radar when it comes to Siege X is the fact that they're redoing shadows from players. So, as it is right now, you can't really see your own shadow, and if you do and you're able to in the certain lighting that it does happen, it's not the same shadow that the other people on the enemy team will see. It's a client-sided shadow, but what they're going to do is make shadows completely server-sided. That way, any shadow that you see, everybody else sees it the exact same way. It's going to make it to where you know if your shadow is giving away your position based off of where it is, because that's what it's going to look like for everybody else. So you can be a lot more aware of your shadow and how you're exposing yourself compared to how it is currently right now. But now that we've gone over that change, I want to go over a few things that are big misconceptions in the Siege community right now about the game so that you know what to expect when Siege X actually comes out. Now, the first thing that I want to go over is that Siege is free to play, essentially. Now, when everybody saw that Siege was free to play, everybody freaked out because, oh, I get to play Siege for free. That's not really how it works. Yes, you get the base game of Siege for free, but when you buy the free version of the game, you can't play any competitive playlists. That means no ranked and no Siege Cup. You also are only allowed to have a certain amount of operators, whereas if you buy the base version of the game that you need to spend money on, you're allowed to have every single operator as long as you unlock it with Renown. So yes, the game will be free, but the really important parts of the game won't be free. But the cool part about this is that you won't be losing anything or having to rebuy anything if you play the game already. That means if you have all the operators, you have the game, you do not have to pay for the game again, and you will keep everything you already have. So for most of you watching this video, because most of you already play the game, this is not something you even have to think about. But for anybody who doesn't play the game or wants to get back into the game, you do unfortunately still need to pay for the game if you want to play ranked. Now, one thing nobody's really talking about with this change is that I think it's a really good wall against cheaters. If you don't know, Siege right now has a big cheating problem. But if the game became free to play, most cheating services are probably just going to be cheating in the casual game mode, or at least the game version that is free. If you're a company that's a cheat maker, think about it. It makes sense to not have to pay for accounts or pay every time you want to play Siege to boost your cheating accounts. It's going to save you money in the long run, and you're still going to be able to push your product of cheating out to the market. So cheating, honestly, is going to stay more in the casual game modes than it is in the ranked game modes, which means if you're playing ranked, you will actually get less cheaters, even though the game is literally free. If you don't believe that this will be the case, take a look at CSGO. When they released a paywall behind ranked, most of the cheaters stayed in their competitive but free game mode, whereas the premier game mode, you don't really have to see cheaters for. Speaking of cheaters, a lot of people do not realize as well that because the game is getting completely overhauled, there will be an upgraded game engine, and there will be an updated version of BattleEye, at least a semi-updated version. I don't know if it's going to be like super up to date, but still an updated more version than we have now. So if the free-to-play news wasn't big for cheaters enough, it's going to be a lot harder to cheat in the game when Siege X comes out because of the new game engine and the licensing agreement with BattleEye. But now that you know what's coming with the game, when is the game actually coming out? Well, for those of you that don't know, right now we're in Year 10 Season 1 Operation Prep phase. Year 10 Season 2 is when Siege X is going to be dropping. Year 10 Season 2 is rumored to be around June 10th. That's when they've stated it's going to be happening, and usually they don't delay season releases, so I think June 10th, safely to say, is going to be when Siege X comes out. Something that's coming out with Siege X before Siege X comes out, though, is something called the Siege X Pack. This is something that you can get right now, and what this is going to get you, if you look at the image on screen, is an exclusive animated weapon skin for the 5.56, which is Thermite and Osa's AR, as well as 2,670 R6 credits, and also, if you don't have these operators already, it's going to give you Ace, Azami, Deimos, Fenrir, Flores, Grim, Melusi, Osa, Ram, Sen, Scopos, and Solus. So if you don't have those operators, you just buy this pack and this bundle, and you will get the operator. You will also be getting a Siege X badge, which you can equip on any operator player card, so when you load into the game, a big red X will be there if you equip the badge, which is pretty cool. I've already seen people rocking it. However, there are some things that you're not going to get when you buy the bundle, but you will get later when Siege X does drop. The first of which is the exclusive Ash bundle. The Ash skin that you see on screen right now is actually a community voted skin. Siege's Twitter tweeted out 3 different options for this skin, and this is the one that got voted on the most. This is also the one that I voted for, so I'm so happy that this is the one that's in the game, but you get the idea. You'll be getting the skin when Siege X releases, even if you buy the skin right now, and then also you'll get the Siege X charm when the game releases instead of getting it right now as well. But with the Siege X pack out of the way, let's go over the next huge change from Siege to Siege X, and that is advanced repelling mechanics. Now, if you don't know how repelling works in the game right now compared to how it will work later, let me break it down for you. Right now, if you repel onto the roof of any single building, if you want to be able to turn the corner of the building, you have to get off of repel and then just repel onto a different side. With advanced repelling, you're now able to jump around a corner to go to the other side instead of having to get off repel and get back on. You're also able to sprint on repel right now, but you can't shoot while you're sprinting, or at least do it accurately. So this doesn't really do much except for speed up the gameplay, kind of like the drone boost did for drones. So it's still a cool change, not really that useful of a one, but just a quality of life change, if that makes sense. Something else that's just as much of a quality of life change as the advanced repelling is the new tinnitus setting that they're adding in Rainbow Six Siege. Essentially, if you get flash grenaded or stunned, there is a setting in the audio settings that allows it to where you can change the audio that plays when you're flashed. If you don't know, when you get flashed, there's this loud ringing that plays as of right now, but when Siege X comes out, you can change the sound of that ringing to be one of 3 different pre-made options in Rainbow Six Siege. Again, not really a useful change, just a quality of life change if you want to be able to have a different sound when you get flash grenaded. That's enough about quality of life changes for now, though. Let's talk about something that you actually get as a reward when Siege X comes out if you've been playing the game for a while. This is veteran rewards. So the longer you've been playing the game, essentially the more badges you're going to get that you can rock on your banner. So if you've played the game since 2018, you're going to get a 2018 badge that you can put on any player card for any operator. Most of these badges are just silver badges that you can equip, but when you get to 2015, which is the year that the game was released, if you played the game in 2015, you're going to get a purple diamond looking 2015 badge that you can rock, which looks very clean in my opinion. You'll also get unique rewards and skins the longer you've been playing as well when Siege X drops, so be on the lookout for that for anybody who's been playing the game for a while. Now, none of those changes are really important, and I think one of the most important changes that's coming to Siege X, and probably my favorite change in my opinion, is the new Sound 2.0 system. Essentially, the way that sound works right now in Rainbow Six Siege at the time of this recording is that sound always takes the path of least resistance. That means if there is a hard reinforced wall to your right, but the room on the other side of that wall has a doorway that leads to your left, even though somebody in the room to your right is shooting, you're going to hear the sound on your left. This causes a lot of confusion in sound in Rainbow Six Siege, with you hearing somebody in the complete opposite direction of where they are, because sound is always going to take the least path of resistance. It's not going to travel through walls, it's only going to travel through doorways and drone holes and open walls, because there's no sound reverberation through surfaces. With Sound 2.0, this is not the case. You're going to be able to hear people all around you and hear exactly how far or how close they are, and you're going to be given different cues depending on if it's through a surface or if the sound is not through a surface. Now, if you want to hear what this audio sounds like for yourself, I'm going to give you the time right now to put on some headphones and listen to it, because I'm going to show you some gameplay of me playing on the main stage, so you can kind of hear things going on around me, and you can hear just how good the audio is for yourself.
Swapping mag! Setting C4.
There he is. Well, the barricade's like glitched. Hello? Yeah, the barricade's actually glitched. That's insane.
Now, if you couldn't really notice a difference, that's fine. If you go into a custom game and just listen to gunshots, you can obviously see that it's very, very different. So when Siege X comes out, I promise you, you will notice a difference. I've been playing this game for months. There is a huge, huge difference. Something else that is a very big difference in Rainbow Six Siege right now, compared to what it's going to be in Siege X, is the new ban system. So when it comes to banning operators right now, what you do is every side bans one attacker and one defender before the game starts. As of right now, this is kind of boring and drawn out, and once most people realize the meta bans for every single map, these bans are never really going to change, which kind of defeats the purpose of tactically banning against people and making your own strategies. Not only this, but it's a huge chunk of time at the beginning of every single round that's being completely wasted and making the game feel a lot slower. So, to counteract this, essentially what they've done is they've made it to where you ban one operator per side every single round at the start of the round. This reduces the time of banning a lot, but it also adds one extra ban per side compared to what we have right now. As of right now, you're only able to ban 4 operators per game, 2 on attack and 2 on defense. However, with the new ban system, if you're on attack, you get to ban 1 defender. And then the defense side gets to ban 1 attacker. Then, in round 2, you get to ban 1 more defender, and the enemy team gets to ban 1 more attacker. Now you have 4 bans, and then in round 3, you do it again, essentially making it to where 6 operators are banned in one game, instead of just 4. Then, once the sides swap, all of the bans get reset, and you start all over again. This makes it a lot more flexible. It adds the opportunity to have more operators banned, which makes it to where you can't always have one meta operator every single round. And it makes it to where bans are much more reactionary. I mean, think about it. If you banned Mira and Azami, but you have a guy on the enemy team who's like the most nasty Caveira player you've ever seen in your life, you probably want the ability to ban Cav. Now, I'm not gonna advocate for anybody banning Cav in this video, but you get the idea. If somebody's playing an operator really well, or they have a really good strat around, let's say a Mira, then next round you get to ban the Mira and solve the issue completely, and you're not stuck with the bans that you maybe have regretted at the beginning of the game. People don't really like this because it's new, and Siege players just hate anything that's new, but I think once most people get used to it like they do with everything else, they will like it better than how it was before. Something that I think literally nobody is going to complain about, though, is the final thing on this list, which is weapon inspects. As of right now, you can't inspect your weapon and look at the cool skins that you may have spent a good amount of money or R6 credits on. But if you simply press your inspect button in Siege X, you get this long drawn out animation of you inspecting every single inch of this weapon. It's going to make thumbnails for Siege a lot better and easier to make, and it's going to make some kill cams pretty nice when you inspect your weapon and then one-tap somebody in the head. Definitely not a necessary change, but a quality of life one that I don't think literally anybody is going to complain about at all. But with that out of the way, that's pretty much every major change. I stream every single day on Twitch if you want to see me playing the new game mode and get drops at the same time to be able to play it yourself. Let me know what your favorite change for Siege X was down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.